Hello and welcome to the first Let's Learn series video. Today playing Gragas Jungle, as you can probably tell from the title, but nothing really important in the beginning. Like Warwick comes in for something. I don't know. He just wastes his flash, so it's nothing big. Right now you see me walk by him just to make sure it's not a full invade. So like when I ward, you can see on the minimap that's only allowed to come in. So it's no big deal, nothing really happens, he just wastes his flash. I decided to start topside just because giving your bot lane Gromp is obviously, pretty big advantage if they know how to abuse it. And they said in pre-game chat that they do, so that's why you see me starting up here. So for the next 30 seconds, there's not really much to talk about other than Gragas as a champion, in which he has two builds, both which give him 40% CDR, meaning that cooldowns are very important on him. So that's a pretty big basic to understand about Gragas. It's like if you never have any CDR, then you're probably building incorrectly. And another thing to explain about Gragas is through your whole body model, you can hit people with E that you probably wouldn't notice. So like right there on Krugs, you see me hit both of them just by abusing the model when I'm clearly standing only in front of the big one. So just notice that your body slam goes around your actual body itself, not just where you're aiming to, if that makes any sense. You'll see it a lot through this. So nothing much there. Like you see me stutter, but that's to get closer so that I can body slam right after the auto attack so that red buff misses one. And as you'll see most of the time through this early jungle is you want to use your body slam to cancel the minion camp, the jungle camp, whatever's auto attack animation. So that'll gain you some small attacks. Like I think it'll save you like at least one attack throughout a whole camp. So that's pretty big. So don't forget to cancel their auto animations with your E. And then so right here you see me rush into one camp and then both buffs. Usually I like to get level 4 before ganking on Gragas just to make your Q a little bit better. But this game I'm against, as you saw, Warwick jungle. So I would like to be as aggressive as possible. So, going the faster jungle to 3 and then ganking bottoms usually pretty quick. 310, that's actually pretty fast. And alright, so right here you see me walking up, and I'm not going to go for Vayne because that's just like asking for it to be flashed. And the support player is obviously thinking of the carry. So right there, I feel like Nami was actually going to, not even think to flash because obviously, usually someone would go for the carry. But because I thought that, I was able to get an insured body slam on her because she was trying to protect Vayne. That's just a small thing to abuse about bot laners, is usually you can just focus out the support, really general, but it works almost 50% of the time. It depends on how close you get. Like if you saw what I did is I got really close to make it a lot easier, because if you give them that buffer of time to think about it, then they can panic flash and then your gank miss, and there you go. So right there, I don't know if you saw, you can go back and you can see that there's a small animation cancel on Gragas's W, where basically you Q and then W really fast and it'll cancel the animation of the W because you're still doing the wind up of your Q. So that's a general pretty good thing to do when jungling Gragas, because it'll speed up your jungling time to make it more bursty. So if you need to smite war or something, whatever you need to do to get it, then there you go, that's out of the way, and it's just easy. It's easy, quick, so obviously as a jungler you want to be quick. And then in this series I thought I could just record, just get like Baron replays and then just do that, but instead I like to include the chat just to give you a feel of the personals of solo queue, to like not tilt your team hard as fuck. So generally that's the point of what I'm trying to do here. But right now, I still was Grump, and I knew that I couldn't kill him because he's a full health Warwick and Warwick. So I just went for the Grump itself, and I got it. And knowing that Warwick and pre-6 Malphite cannot get over walls unless they want to use Flash, then, that was just a simple over the wall, and I had E coming up, so there's no way I could get really punished for that. But I mean, the point of that counter jungle was to just slow down Warwick as much as possible, because he's going to get sated one way or another, but if you reduce the time in which he gets the actual Devourer enchantment, then that's more important than denying, like, a few CS from top lane, because there was nothing I could have done there at that time. But yeah, standard jungling here. Right now, I think to back because I'm low on mana and whatnot, but I see that I have 2 wards on my trinket, so I feel the need to go and ward just to gain any type of vision, and then grab Scuttle while I'm there just because it's up and it's relatively low level. So that could have been a misplay, like I'm just wasting time getting Scuttler without mana, and I could have upgraded or changed my trinket, but I don't know. I felt like the ward was more important there, just because he was at Wolves and then going probably down to his bot side jungle, so he could have went mid or something like that. So just having that little bit of vision might help. You'd never know in the moment. So right here, I've established that both my lanes are winning, and the only one that has a chance of losing is bot lane, so obviously I'm going to focus a little bit more on that, and you can tell that just because the KDAs of my solo laners are winning. Like, it's 6-0 right now, but it's easily thrown. So nothing really special here, just going for a bot lane gank. They don't have wards because I pinked it, as you can see. And then right here, they just kind of get destroyed. Like, they have me waiting, so they play aggressive, and then, like, as you can see, they're already getting pretty wrecked in the 2v2, and then Flash Warwick Ult just kind of happens. Not much I can really do for that. So right here, I'm going to see if I can steal this Red or Wraith, or Razorbeaks, but I don't know, what's up. So I'm just kind of walking through it, honestly. And Auri wants blue buff. It's up in 7 seconds, so it's gonna give it over to her, and there's a lot that she does with it in this game. So be ready to see some sweet Auri action. So just making sure to take the little ones, because that's where a lot of your experience comes through. And even with that bot lane gank, he was already 6 and I was barely level 5, so making sure to get all those little things is definitely going to help in this game. Again, nothing really special going on quite currently, other than some Gragas animation cancels. So QW, same thing right there. Usually you don't want to E into the camp unless you're really trying to jungle fast, just because odds are most of the time you won't hit all of the camp with your E, so it's kind of like a damage loss. But it's either you take the time loss of walking the whole way, or you take the damage loss. So I think it almost evens out. I don't think it honestly matters, but I prefer QW walking up in E. That's just me. But usually when you're behind, you want to get, even or ahead, so that's why you see all this power farming quite currently. Nothing quite special about it, other than making sure to do all your cancels and whatnot. Because there's 2 primarily that Gragas uses, is you E and then Q, and then during the E dash, I guess you'd call it, you do the wind up of Q. So, like, right there, you're getting rid of your Q animation while you're just standing there doing nothing. So you have EQ and then QW. So those are the 2 used Gragas animation cancels. So they're very important, so try and use them at all times. And as a jungler, just usually picking up a pink most packs is generally what you're going to see from me, just because I value vision control. Like, you can still see my bot lane pink is still down there, but, like, even so, just having one is a little bit of pressure if anyone cares about what's in your inventory. But again, just going down bot lane, because Warwick did pick up kills with flash ults, or just ults in general. So I honestly don't think that much can happen from them. So not really gonna care, just gonna focus on bot lane like I was. Okay, so here's where things could get terrible, just because Warwick's here again, but don't think he has ult. So I'm just gonna go into Vayne and hopefully get her out of here. Standard Gragas combos, E flash, make sure to hit it, and then ult backwards. There's no buffer time with that, so they have no chance to flash. So after your E and then flash, you hit that, and then you can immediately throw R, and then there's no chance to flash. It just happens. But you can do the EQ, but then you kind of waste your Q because you just knocked them out of it. So that's not usually what you want to do. So when you E flash, you want to just E flash and then ult, because that's like the best way. But if you do know no one has flash, then you can throw in a Q to where you think they're gonna be after you ult to make like a cute little play. I think it's generally better to stay with the safe route and then just go E flash ult. There I was typing yes and hit E, so pay no mind. So another sweet Warwick Malphite room. I don't know, like it's just kind of a clown fiesta down there. So with them all being down there, I usually go, like the basics to jungling is if you see the jungler not in their jungle, that means that, well, you can take it. So with him being bot lane, I know that there's no chance of anyone being in his top side jungle, so this is all free. Right here, I can just smite it and go up to their top laner, but instead I'm waiting for my ult, and you can see it has 5 seconds. Now, Kale's gonna BM a little bit and say, please go. Like, he just doesn't understand that I'm waiting. But I feel like that was the right play to ult him into the wall and then E him, because it keeps us both out of turret aggro, so there's no reason to use Kale ultimate there. Because, like, if he TP's back or just walks back or any random thing happens, then Kale has ult. So I was generally just trying to think of her. Now, right now, you're just seeing me establish vision. That's not really anything to note other than ward up the Sated Devourer jungle, so you have a lot of ideas of where he is. And then just making sure to use your E for Gragas specifically to make sure that the Scuttler loses its resistances. Right now I'm just like attacking Malphite, and then like if you check the ping, nothing is really like wrong. I think it's just like regular connectivity problems. But yeah, that happens. So you see my chat pop up, and like right there I was going to just be like lag. But honestly, I don't think anyone cares, so I opted out of doing so. And then luckily Kale just walks in and gets it. But with their team, this is just the teaching of itemization, but I don't think it's very crucial in this game because obviously people would go Mercs in this, just because it's Malphite, Illaoi, Vayne, Nami, every single one of them, and Warwick for general purposes. They all either have at least half magic damage or CC that you do one stop. Like Nami Bubble is something crucial that you always one stop. Vayne Condemn, well, that's an obvious one. Malphite Q is actually pretty huge, especially just getting all those little gains. So I don't think Mercs were wrong here at all. Just making sure that I have Cinderhold kill that minion. That was just pretty cute, I guess. So alright, so there's that vision that I just established when I was up there ganking. And so we can see that he's there. So that means that, first of all, we just have infinite options right now. Like, alright, so again, making sure to get the small ones if you can. But we have a million options here because we know he's topside, probably going to run to bot side. So with that, I feel like he's going to be level 10. And then I just need to, just straight spam all my things, all my camps to get 10 too, but he actually runs top lane. I actually didn't catch that in game until Kale said it. But even so, like, just getting to level 10 seems pretty huge. So warding up my shit just because I generally don't know where he is. Like, I think he's at my Krugs, but I even doubt that. I think he just, like, ran down to his wolves or something the long way. Still have no idea where he is, though. So getting red buff, because I see my bot lane coming up, so I know that we can at least make something happen on this Malphite. But then, everything just kind of Clown Fiesta's back to normal. Luckily, Warwick was smart enough to not go for that pink, because he knew he'd get destroyed. Alright, so here's a quick little fight. If you didn't watch the minimap, you see that Illaoi flashed over the wall too, and then through my screen I only really saw Kayle flash over the wall from Warwick, so it was kind of weird. But yeah, she was actually just chasing, and this is just a perfect Kayle ult into good ult into tower. It's good, just general team play. And then she's still checking for him, but but she's obviously gone. So there's just solid reads on their movements and following. Right now you can see Jhin getting kind of bullied, so it's probably the next plan. But itemization on Gragas goes, you can go cooldown boots into 20% CDR item Spirit Visage, and that'll give you 40, or you can go 20% like Frozen Heart and Frozen Gauntlet. Not that big of a fan of that build, but I think in this game I'm generally just trying to get to 30%, just because 40 is pretty hard with going more mercs unless you go Aegis, but Aegis just wasn't the plan in this game. So, right now I'm just making sure not to waste my E, because if I ever waste my E against Vayne, then she completely destroys me. So I went up for the walk-up W, and then that's an ensured E, just because there's really no place to go other than flash. And then she sees Auri, so she just runs under tower. Not really much happens. I just catch a free shutdown. That's pretty cool. Not bad with Gragas. Being a better front line's always good. Alright, so I really want to back just to pick up a Warden's Mail. Just so, the faster I get that Frozen Heart, the better, just because Warwick W is going to give everyone attack speed, so reducing all that is pretty big. And I decided not to go back just to get level 11 before I did, just in case, something happens before I can get 11 off my recall. So here it is. I'm, got 11 going back and getting Warden's Mail. Alright, so covered both Gragas cancels and then the buffer time of ult. So those are pretty general things to Gragas that you need to know. And then just general team play. Try and read what your team is doing. Because, if you see Auri roaming a lot, then generally going where she's going is pretty good. But I haven't been able to roam a lot with her this game, just because she is a quite lone wolf type player. So he's a wolf, so we saw him run down there, just trying to pop that oracles, because the ever ward their Razorbeak scamp, then it'll completely waste the oracle, which is the point. Right here, he just kind of walks back into it, and then I whiff ultimate, but that was generally an idea that I had, but it was just not as well thought out as it should have been. But it still worked out, because Jhin long range snare is pretty cool, I guess. But I mean, that's just staying on top of hitting everyone once. Right there, you see me do it to Illaoi. So again, just being the front line that your team needs. Right there, I was just slow. I didn't think he'd honestly walk into that 1v5 with Kayle and then Jaina Gragas, but I mean, he did, and he definitely caught me off guard, so definitely prepare for everything, I guess, is the lesson learned there. So 11-15, kill death. That's kind of why I chose this replay, just because it's not just the one-sided victory. It actually gives some pretty good matchups, I guess. You just see two teams actually get to play the game instead of just getting one just completely destroyed. A lot of things that I haven't really highlighted this game is Dragon control and Baron control this game, but that's because every time that I've had the idea to go for it, something else has happened, and this team just generally doesn't like objectives like that. You'll actually see that fairly soon. It's really just they're all just kind of going for kills. So you're giving Auri another blue. The plan is that she doesn't die with it. So let's see how that one goes. I got the Frozen Heart, which is pretty huge. That's great. I'm going for Spirit Visage just to give myself that extra cooldown to get to 30. But I'm not getting 40. Like, regardless of it being very important this game, I thought I'd go the cooldown route into just cooldown boots, no mercs, into standard Frozen Heart, Spirit Visage, but mercs just seemed too good this game. Especially because I had just enough gold. I had exactly 800, so like, why not, you know? So here's Auri going in with that blue buff. Fairly nice. Almost at it, I guess. He almost made the play. Yeah, that's what to say here. Level 11 didn't upgrade my trinket. That only happens rarely, so don't get too used to seeing that. But yeah, just generally don't forget to upgrade your trinket, obviously. I don't think this video is going to teach you that, but there's a reminder. Again, nothing much. QWing every time you can, EQing every time you can. So not really much Vayne could do in that situation, honestly. Like, the scale's like 6-0, or whatever she is. Like, that's 7-0 now, so yeah, it was 6-0. Yeah, no one's 1v1ing the scale. Alright, so I said push bot, like, push another wave and then come, we can get Baron, just because their AD carries it down, and then we just, like, I have the pink and the wards to do it, and we have mid lane pushing, so it seemed right, but then, Jhin happened. Unfortunate. Yeah, it was just, like, stood still to cast a spell, Malphite ult. And he is AP Malphite, so that's generally death if you get hit. So top is pushing, that's good. We have pressure there, we have pressure down mid, and we have pressure bot. So every lane's pushing, so that's what we want. So we can just start. Alright, so right there you see me whiff completely on the E-flash. General Gragas tip, learn that. Learn how far you can get, because like, if you don't let your E go the full length, then you're flashing from the current spot that you're at. So if you E and then, you know, right after the moment after you hit E, if you flash, then you're only getting that little bit of distance. So try and get all of the distance before you do flash. And like, if I think if I did that there, then I would have actually connected with it. Luckily in that situation, I was already ulting Warwick backwards, so like, with Auri living, it was the same outcome, because I would have ulted him backwards either way. And nothing really here, just like, they can't contest because they can't contest because we have every lane pushing, and mid has supers, so they're in their base. Right here, you're just gonna see a sad time. Like, sometimes you have the right idea, you do it well, but it's the wrong time. So like right here, perfect Vayne into the team, but didn't have Ahri. It was in a 4v4 under tower, so basically a 5v4. So yeah, that's what you want to do, but not at that time. And then Ahri's steadily pushing down mid, just because super minions and even Ahri is pretty good. So right now I'm fairly certain we can just dive and end this. Like, no reason to continue on with it, just because like everyone on my team is fairly strong. So right here alright, so the plan is for me to just E him out of his auto, but I didn't expect him to flash auto, so that's what got me. So like right there, another time, just think of what they can do. You really have to read situations and read what other people can do before you can react to it. Because like right there, I expected him to auto me, but I didn't expect him to flash auto me. So the time in my head of getting it done just wasn't ready. So I obviously died for it. I think I was dead anyway, but it's the point of learning. So Again, just kind of waiting for this gray screen to go away. Must be a bug of some sort. Nothing big happening right now, other than gonna give Ari another blue, even though that sounds saddening with how the last one went, but she's generally a good player, I don't doubt it. But don't feel bad for taking blues, honestly. Like, Gragas, like, just doing that one wolf camp, like, I'm already, you know, 1/6-ish out of mana. So, like, Gragas does use a lot of his mana. So, feel free to take him if you're going to utilize him better than your mid laner. But I believe in my team, although that is usually the wrong thing to do. I generally am just a team player. That's just me. If you do it otherwise, that's you. Here's a good example of just random going for a long range ult with high hopes. That's one thing to stop doing as Gragas if you don't need to. Just because the 2 times that I've done it this game, both times ended up doing nothing. Right here, you're just going to see someone walking linear to Ari, even though she had really no options there, but still, that's what happens when that happens. So don't do that. There you go. Again, not much happening right now. Again, just, getting back. Ari is just going monster down at their bottom side jungle, but that's Ari. She had built kind of assassiny with Lichbane and Rylai's, like Lichbane to burst you and then Rylai's to stay on you. So that's a pretty solid build. Never really seen it, but I guess that's what people do. So like right now, I want to just go for Baron because like as you can see, they had the 2 dead, and Kayle shreds Baron, and then Jhin, every single thing Jhin does just hurts, just because it's Jhin. Again, that was just solid point that you can E and then ult without any time for them to do anything, because like if you saw what he did right after the my R's, he R'd onto me instantly. So given that, again, another whiff. That one I felt like hit, but I guess not. As I was saying, so that was a good example of how you can E and then R, and there's no time for them to do anything. So he was obviously spamming R, and then he went on to me once he could. And he only could after my ult, so that's like proving that you can E and R and there's no time to do anything. Now granted, if I threw a spell in between that E and R, then he might have just ulted me right out of it, and then, not really anything happens. So there's proof of that. Again, remember, standard animation cancels, always do them. Right here, they're just going for like a final fight type thing. Gotta believe. Completely whiff both. Get used to that as Gragas. That'll just happen because, like, right there, I felt like he would just run backwards and not want to fight just because, like, my whole team's ready and his team isn't following him, but he just fucking walks up. Which, like, made me look dumb, so good for him. I think that was the point, other than winning and making a play. So finally getting second dragon at 30 minutes, or 29 rather. Smite at 800. I try and do a Q smite, and like right there, Q gets it down to 686, but like because there was that window that you could see that, it wasn't comboed, so it could have been stolen. So I think it's better to do with W. So as you do dragon, right, so you want to start it with Q, E in, and then W. And then when you W, you want to turn on the small text that shows you the numbers if it's not already on. See what your W is doing, and then kind of lowball it. So, like, for example, if it's 386, just say, like, 300. So 300 on 800 would have been 1100. So I could have done it like that. But right there, I was just testing to see if Q is anything good, but it's just not. But just making sure, no big deal. Like, that was a time where you can't afford to just try and learn something. Checking their vision, they have to have placed one ward, so yeah, there it is, because like no one just clearly walks up to Baron like that. Right there, whiff. Not much of a whiff, but like Auri just kind of dies. And here's this monster of a Kale. It's gonna just shred everything. Again, just being straight front line, standing in the front. That's like how to position as Gragas is you want to just be ahead of all your team. If any of your team is like eye level to you, then either they're mispositioning terribly or you're too far back. So like even right there, like just with my passive and I'm gaining 200 health per spell that has my passive on it, so like you can afford to just stand in the front with your tank items and then just heal it all off. Like there's not really much to do. But this concludes everything. I hope I made you a better player.